like the start of a race. Diet Pepsi's my fuel in this Monday maze. Shake the weekend fog off my tired face. The hustling begins, no time to waste. Hey, Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The clock won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show. And sun clouds up higher, chasing dreams like chasing fire. Got my rhythm set to overdrive. This Monday motivation vibe's keeping me alive. Hey, Monday motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show. Street lights fading, sun climbs up higher, chasing dreams like chasing fire. Got my rhythm set to overdrive. This Monday motivation vibe's keeping me alive. Hey, Monday motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, I own the show. Know the week can be heavy, but I'm tougher still. Climbing the mountain, fueled by will. Each heartbeat whispers, yes you can. I'm golden, helping every woman and man. Hey, Monday motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I'll feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show.
Hey guys, welcome in. It is Monday Motivation, and what an exciting topic we are talking about tonight. So, if you do not know who I am Pamela, aka Scooterrenee. I am your host of tonight's Monday Motivation, as I am for all Monday Motivation. So, welcome in. This is such a great way to start your week off and everything. So, make sure you do all the YouTube things. You subscribe to my channel. You ring the bell for all notifications. And a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. Ring that bell for all notifications is so very important right now, because you know when I'm going live or uploading new content. And most of all, while I'm on vacation next week, I'll be dropping some buy it now videos. So I do auctions on my channel Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and on the weekends sometimes, and I drop some buy it now videos. So you'll be able to shop next week, even though I'm not here. So welcome in all the new people. If you've never watched Monday Motivation before, I hope you'll continue to come back. We tend to talk about some great topics, if I say so myself. All my OGs, you know who you are. I'm seeing your lovely names pop up in my chat and everything. And the playback crew, cannot forget about you. Make sure you let me know that you're the playback crew. Let me know about your hamster. You'll find out what we're going to talk about here in a minute on that. So, welcome in. Let's see who all is here before we get started. We got Joanne here. Hello, Joanne. Welcome in. So good to see you. Lisa D. Hello. Welcome in. I got tickled reading your comment today about the trickery. I was like, yeah, you got to pay attention to the hashtag. Let's see. We also got my feather sister, Selena. Welcome in, Selena. Good to see you. We've got Miss Angela Critters here. Hello, Angela. Welcome in. So good to see you. Let's see. We got Cool Ranch. My sister, welcome in. Good to see you. You're fine. You'll get it one of these days, Cool. Welcome. We got Nancy Smith. Hello, Nancy. So good to see you. Nancy's excited because we're starting a whole new series starting tonight. So I was happy to see that today as you commented as well in the short. All right. I think I got everybody for now. Everybody will come in as they get the notification, or there's other great things going on the YouTube, so people might be bouncing around, and that's quite okay too. So we'll catch them as they come in. If you haven't said hello, come on in and say hello. Let me know that you're here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Everybody got your green on? Huh? Everybody? My boss had his green on. The other workers in my office had their green on. And I was like, really? I don't get to pinch you? So, it's like, okay, you are 50 years old and we're still into this pinching thing on St. Patrick's Day. I wore my green. I wore my necklace that was my freebie from Josie's place. So I love this necklace. I was like, oh, that'll go perfect with my top and everything. So hope you all had a great weekend as well. Joanne says she's got her green on. Cool Ranch says she made her famous corned beef and cabbage. I had a lady come in, I think it was yesterday, at the flea market, and she had on all her green. She had her green 4-leaf clover nails, and she was a much older lady. And she had on her green hat and everything, and she was talking about the corned beef and cabbage, how we don't have that around here anywhere local. I was like, yeah, ever since they shut down Beef O'Brady's, we can't have that. Angela's got her green on. Love it. No, I'm so sorry, Lisa D. Yeah, my mom's, so I just had my dad's. My mom's is coming up this weekend as well. So luckily I'll be busy at a vendor's event with Harley. So it's like, you want to say, celebrate the life, but then I understand the other part of it wholeheartedly. So, all right. So like I said, I hope you had a great weekend. I worked the flea market all this weekend. It was a busy but very productive weekend for me. Also had a couple of auctions that I did. One was over on Cool Ranch's channel Saturday night, and then Sunday night was over on Black Widow's channel. So yeah, busy weekend. So quick announcements real quick, because some of y'all are coming in. You've either A, not heard of these announcements yet, or B, you've forgotten the announcements, whatever, and some of these might be new to you as well. I have invoiced everyone as of Saturday night. If you have paid your invoice up till today, all your items have shipped out today. So everybody's out, any paid invoices have all been shipped out as of today. If you have an outstanding invoice with me and you want it shipped this week, I need you to pay it by Wednesday. Robert and I are trying to get all the shipping taken care of this week so that we don't have anything hanging over us while we're going on vacation. If you purchase anything from my auctions this week, I will invoice you on Friday, but I will not be able to ship it until we are back from vacay, because I have a huge vendor event this weekend with my daughter. And so I'm going to be tied up with that Saturday and Sunday, and then we leave Monday for our vacay. So if you purchase anything, I will invoice you this Friday. 48 hours, pay your invoice, and then I will ship your items as soon as we get back, hopefully starting the 31st and on of that day, of that week. So again, if you have a outstanding invoice, want it shipped this week, pay by Wednesday, and anything you buy from me this week, you will be invoiced, but it will not be shipped until March 31st. Got it? Okay. I will also be dropping Buy It Now videos next week, Monday through Friday. One will drop at different times each and every day. All you have to do is comment with the item number or numbers of the items that you would like. And when I get back, I will invoice you then. So I will not invoice you for next week purchases until the following week, if that makes sense. Let's see. Also, make sure you're getting all your hashtags in on the short videos. That way you can be entered into the first drawing that we will do on April 1st of all days, April 1st, April Fools. And then it will start all over again. So right now, I've got quite a few of y'all in here. So right there. And remember, for every chat participation you participate in on Monday Motivation, when I ask the chat participation question, you get entered into a special drawing for Monday Motivation, and only for Monday Motivation, and that will be done on April 7th. So we got this Monday and then March 31st. All of those will go into one drawing, and then we'll draw the following Monday. Also, we will not have Monday Motivation next Monday because I will be on a much needed vacay with RoFlow. So we will not have Monday Motivation next Monday. So last week, let me make sure I'm not missing anything in chat before I move on. Green, Nancy. Selena says weekend was crazy. Rye was in the hospital, and then they got chased by a tornado. Yeah, crazy weather. Ours happened Friday night. Rylan went in the hospital Friday night, and then Saturday night, so Friday night for us was our tornadoes that went through here, and then Saturday night was Selena running from the tornadoes that hit in Tennessee. So yeah, it's been a crazy weekend. That's right. Don't forget the thumbs up. And if you think you've got friends out there that need to come over here for Monday Motivation, they need a little bit of motivating in their life, don't be afraid to share this out as well. All right, I think I'm good. Oh, here we go. Jimmy Mac, when are you coming back? Hey, Jimmy, welcome in, buddy. So good to see you. So last week, we finished our new series of the year regarding climbing our own hero mountain and what to do when we are at the halftime point of our lives. And so tonight, we are starting, and I'm so excited for this one, starting a brand new series about, and I'm going to ask for forgiveness real quick, but forgive me for when I say basically, this is going to be about unscrewing ourselves. So basically, it's about getting out of our heads and back into our lives is what this whole next series is going to be about. Thank you, Nancy. So if this sounds like something you need to do, then this will be about a 9-week series. I'm so excited for the new things that we're going to be discussing and discovering about of our own selves and getting out of our minds and getting unscrewed. So we're getting started tonight on this series, but we will not pick back up, as I stated earlier, until March 31st, when I'm back from vacation. So real quick, y'all know what's next. It's not that you have to find the answer. You are the answer. You, on the other side of the screen, are the answer. So, if you're game for getting unstuck, whoa, that was a mess up. If you are game on getting unstuck, unscrewed from your brain, and yes, I will count this as a chat participation. You will get an entry. I just want you to simply put in chat, I'm gamed. I am gamed. I'm gamed. Put I'm gamed in chat if you're all about getting unstuck, unscrewed from your brain. And then you will get a star. That's how I'm keeping up with the chat participation. So this counts as chat participation if you want to get into the drawing. So we got Lisa D coming in first. We got Joanne, I'm game. And I can just hear Selena screaming, I'm game. Y'all know her. And the next one. And then we got Jimmy in. He's game. Nancy Smith is game to get unstuck, right? All right. So if we see any more, I'll mark them as well. So how many of you in chat have ever had a pet hamster growing up? Or maybe you had a sibling that had a hamster. Hey, Steve, welcome in. Long time. Welcome. So good to see you. You get a star. Lisa D says I'm stuck deep. All right, great. So how many of you in chat had a hamster growing up? Or maybe your sibling, maybe you had a friend that had a hamster, but y'all know what a hamster is, right? My brother, Selena said, I knew somebody had to have a hamster. Selena says, I had a hamster. Jimmy said he had a hamster. Selena says hers was named Pepper. Joanne says her granddaughter had a hamster buried in the backyard. How sweet. So, my brother had a few, I think, couple or so. And I was trying to think if I actually had one as well. I don't think I did. Hey, Lena, welcome in. So good to see you. I had guinea pigs too. Yes. Steve said yes, 1985. I think my brother had his back before that, so probably like the late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, he had a hamster, and one of them was named Miss Piggy. Like, how appropriate, right? Yes, I love the teddy bear hamsters. They're so cute, right? They had a funeral for the hamster. So I think I was probably 5 years old when my brother had this hamster. And of course he would have been 13 because he's 8 years older than me. Hey, Black Widow, welcome in. Good to see you. But the one thing I remember about Miss Piggy was one time I was holding her, and apparently she either A, didn't like me holding her, or B, I was, squeezing her too tight. But she bit the crap out of my pinky, my little finger, to where I was literally shaking my hand like this, trying to get it off my hand. And of course, my brother's like freaking out because I'm shaking his hamster so hard, trying to get it off my hand. I think he finally got it off of my hand. But that was my first, I think, real experience with a daggum hamster. Steve said his was a teddy bear named Hammy. I had a Maltese named Hammy. What a small world. Oh, a lot of y'all had funerals for these. Okay. I don't know what my brother did with his. But anyways, the other thing I remember about Miss Piggy, besides not liking her anymore after that episode, my brother had bought her one of those spinning wheels to put in her cage. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And she loved that thing. Squeak, squeak, squeak all night long. But she loved that thing, and she just get in there, she spin that wheel, spin that wheel, spin that wheel. The crazy thing about that, as I think of that memory, I know that myself, and maybe you have too, but sometimes I feel I can be that way in my brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got my hamster on its wheel in my brain, and it's furiously spinning, constantly spinning, and I'm churning my way through life, but sometimes I feel like I'm going nowhere. Anyone else do that? Anyone else have that hamster in the wheel of your brain that just keeps on spinning and spinning and spinning, and you're just going nowhere? One time, we had one of my dearest friends over, Teresa. Y'all have heard me talk about her a few times on here. But my friend Teresa was over. Nancy said yes. Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But we had Teresa and her husband over here. And the four of us, we were playing a game at the time. And I don't know what board game we were playing at the table. And somehow we were laughing. Like one of those deep belly laughs, tears streaming down our face. And my friend Teresa was like, oh, my head. She was just talking about how it hurt. And all of a sudden, Robert, y'all know how Robert is. Robert just piped up. And being Robert said, yeah, the hamster's in there going, stop shaking me. And we just all died laughing. And you talk about tears. We definitely had tears after that. We were just, it was the funniest thing. And it probably was one of those she had to be there moments. But, so many times we refer to the hamster in our brain. Hey, Tammy, welcome in. Good to see you. Uh-oh. So, but we all have this hamster in our brains. No one is immune of having one. We become caught in this loop of constant internal chatter that we have with ourselves, and the judgment never stops. And so It's that little voice that tells us that, hey, you're being lazy, we're being stupid, or that we're just not good enough. Corinne says, I've got a lot of hamsters in my head, right? But I will always catch myself saying, well, Scooter, that was stupid. Or sometimes it's, well, Pamela, that was not a very smart thing to do. I sometimes forget that I have a real name. I even refer to myself as Scooter most of the time. But we can get repetitive enough with this internal chatter that the hamster on that wheel, if you will, that we might not even notice the degree of which we believe it or how we're drained by it. We're just spending our days working to overcome the stresses and the strains of each and every day, trying to live our life at various points, facing that resignation of, if we can't get our butts off this dang wheel, that maybe we're never going to get where we want in life. Maybe for you, it's trying to get to a point in your life where you can find happiness that you've been chasing after. Maybe it's that weight, those few pounds that you want to shed. Or maybe it's that career that you dream, that dream job that you wanted, that promotion that you need, that you wanted. Or maybe it's just to find that relationship that you've been craving your whole life, yet it all just remains just out of reach. Hey, Josie, welcome in. Good to see you. So good to see you. Some of you on the other side of the screen, you might now be getting so tired of the self-defeat monologue, the endless stream of self-doubt and the deceits, the trickery that limits and taints everyday life. Awesome, Josie. If you have felt this way, if you have had this hamster in your brain just spinning and spinning and spinning, you know, just again, keep spinning and keep spinning. Doesn't stop. It just keeps going. But if you are sick of this, then this, my friend, is where you will need to be, because this is going to be a conversational slap from the universe to wake you the heck up to your true potential, to unscrew yourself and get back spectacularly into your life. Who's with me? Who is with me? We got 8 more weeks after tonight. Hey, Harry, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Now, there's 2 kinds of talks you engage in every day. 2 talks. Talking to others and talking to yourself. Thank you, cool. So, chat participation time. Who do you think you talk to more? Do you think you talk to others more, or do you think you talk to yourself more? I'm just curious to see what y'all think. Sometimes for me, I'm having a dual combo. Like, I'm talking to someone, but I'm also carrying on a whole other conversation in my brain. Anyone? So which one do you think you do the most talking to? Yourself or others? Lisa D says me. Steve said himself for sure. Lena says myself. Joanne says myself. Now, Lisa D, you can't have both. Well, I guess you can, because I just said I have both, right? Angela says myself. Harry says, if I talk to myself, I get the answers I want to hear. No one to argue with you except you, right? Nancy Smith said myself, and it is okay. Sam says I talk to myself, but it's both, Selena says. I'm home all day with Molly Pup, so I say I talk to her more than anyone, and then me, right? I do that with Bella. I wish there were times I knew what she was thinking or saying, right? Lisa D, me was I'm with you. Jimmy says others. Lisa D says others I talk to more. Joanne talks to her cat. I'm getting to find out all kinds of great things about you guys. All right. You might be one that insists that you just absolutely don't talk to yourself. Nope, don't do it. I don't talk to myself at all. Well, Scooter, I don't talk to myself. I'm not the crazy one here, but most of the conversation we have on any day given is with ourselves. When you're leaving the house in your mind, you're saying, no, Scooter, you need to get your purse, your jacket, your phone. You need to get your lunch if you're taking a lunch that day, a drink if you're taking a drink that day, or I think I'm going to fix me a glass of tea, or I'm going to fix me a Diet Pepsi is what I'll probably say. Thinking that we have these conversations in the solitude and privacy in between our 2 ears, our own head, our brain. And I don't care if you're introverted or extroverted. I don't care if you're practical or creative. You spend the bajillion times each day talking to you. You do it while you're exercising. If you don't exercise, then you do it while you're working. If you don't work, then you're doing it while you're walking, texting, crying, arguing, negotiating, reading, writing, planning, praying, meditating, even fun in the bedroom, putting gas in your car. I don't care what it is. You name it. And yes, even when you sleep, you're talking to yourself. You want extra credit, don't you, Lisa D? Gloria says, however, I'll have Savannah the rest of this week during her spring break. I'll be able to, oh, awesome. I thought she wasn't going to get to do spring break with you. Lisa D said, I thought you meant out loud. But that's okay too, because you're still talking to yourself, right? Selena says, a touch and go with me. I win some and I lose some of the conversation I have with myself. It's just according to the subject, right? Yes, Joanne says, I talk out loud to myself. I prefer to think of it being out loud. Thinking out loud. Harry says, you know, some people think crying is bad, but it's not. It cleans your soul. Amen. There's a lot of times I will tell people, I'm not crying because you hurt my feelings. I'm crying because I am pissed and I got to get those emotions out. So yes, it does clean your soul. So, but you're always constantly talking to yourself. And I would lay money down right now that you on the other side of this screen, right this second, you're actually doing it right now. Yep. I know you are. I'm willing to put money on that because I know I would win. Don't worry. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. You might be thinking, see, I told you. You might be thinking, well, Scooter's being crazy with all this nonsense. But guess what? We're all a little crazy. So no matter how you're talking to yourself, you might as well settle on in and welcome to the freak show. Cool Ranch says, Savannah told me yesterday that she'll be available. Oh, yay. Awesome. Lena says, I talk out loud to myself too. I answer myself too. Sometimes I have good advice. I love that. Yes. So welcome to the freak show. Now, studies show that we have over 50,000 thoughts per day. 50,000 thoughts. Can you even begin to imagine 50,000 thoughts? Nancy said, if you answer yourself, it means you are smart because you have the answer, right? Sometimes I just got to talk it out loud, to get to the answer. Selena says, oh, sure, it means I'm crazy. You haven't seen the fist fights after I lose the conversation with myself. So that's what's happened with your mouth. Popped yourself. But 50,000 thoughts, if we could stop right now and think of all the things that you say to yourself, or I say to myself, that you'd rather not say, or we think of all the things we want to overcome, or all the things that we feel defeated in. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely insane. Now, we might not have much say or no say in these automatic and reaction thoughts, but we have a massive say in how we respond to those thoughts that we attach significance to. Those don't come preloaded. And you will see if you practice in how you respond to yourself, you'll catch yourself. The latest in neuroscience and psychology has been able to add weight to this idea that the kind of talk you engage yourself in has a profound impact on the quality of your life. Professor Will Hart out of University of Alabama conducted 4 experiments. This was where participants either recalled or experienced a positive, negative, and neutral events. The study found that people who described the neutral event in ways that suggested it was ongoing, they actually felt more positive. And when they described a negative event in the same way, the experience was more negative, if you can imagine, right? I don't know about you, but I can tell when things in my life are negative. When life is just feeling all negative and is attracting negative stuff. The language you use to describe the circumstances you are in determines how you see, how you experience, and how you participate in them. It dramatically affects how you deal with your life and confronting problems, both big and small. There is a connection between what we say and how we feel that has been known hundreds, if not thousands of years. The philosophers like Wittgenstein, Heidegger, and Gadamer, they all got England, Germany. They all knew the importance and significance of language in our lives. In fact, Wittgenstein, I just love saying that name, said the harmony between thought and reality can be found, which this part threw me, can be found the grammar of the language. I was like, okay, you go on with your bad self. Now, studies have also continually found that having positive self-talk can dramatically improve mood, boost confidence, increase productivity, and so much more. And even in Professor Hart's studies that I mentioned, it can be one of the key components to a happy and successful life. Sounds easy, right? Sounds almost too easy. But the reverse is also true, that negative self-talk can not only put us in a bad mood, it can leave us feeling helpless. It's what makes those small problems seem bigger. And it can also create problems where none existed before. Y'all know what I'm talking about on that? It creates problems that you might not have had before. I know I've done that. Well, I didn't have a problem, but now I have a problem, right? But breaking news, your self-talk, if it's always negative or more negative than positive, it's screwing you over. And it's doing that in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. Now, I do a lot of self-talk, a lot of topics on self-talk, a lot of topics on positive thinking and affirmations. Y'all been here for that. Most of you have been. And we know that those subjects are talked about even well beyond outside of here and have been done over and over and over. So we're not going to keep beating something to death here. This time, I'm not going to be telling you to tell yourself you're a tiger or you're a lion. Hear you roar. Unleash your inner animal. First, you're neither one of those. And second, you're neither one of those. Harry says, and hanging with negative people can drag you down and make your life negative. Yes. Amen. Some of you, let me figure out what I was trying to say here. And some of you don't even like that kind of thing to begin with. The positive, the affirmations and everything. Feeling like you're forced to eat a bucket of maple syrup with sprinkled bits of last year's candy canes. Yum! So let's take this in another direction. The difference between success and failure. Albert Ellis, one of the forefathers of modern psychology, said, if human emotions largely result from thinking, then one may appreciably control one's feelings by controlling one's thoughts, or by changing the internalized sentences or self-talk with which one largely created the feeling in the first place. Ellis found that how we think and how we talk about our experiences shifts the way we feel about them. Our thoughts are bedfellows with our emotions. He also found that how we think, the way we think, can often be completely irrational. I mean, think of how many times you told yourself something like, I'm so freaking stupid. Or how about, I always mess things up. Maybe you said, my life is over. Or some negative description of an event like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Again, I say that negative description on small things because I do know that some major events have gone on in our lives that are the worst things that's ever happened to us. So I'm not talking about those times. All right, chat participation time. Who loves these more now? Where was I going with that? Who loves these more now? I know I do. I want you to know if you have ever completely overreacted to something that in hindsight barely registered on the important. That's what I'm asking you. How many of you, I think my cursor kept jumping around my notes. How many of you have ever completely overreacted to something that in hindsight barely registered on the important meter? Who has overreacted to something that in all actuality wasn't something to overreact to? That's what I'm trying to say. I think my cursor jumped and started typing other words in there. Nancy says, yes, ma'am. Selena says, me. Joanne says, I have. Harry says, I think we all have at one time or another. Lisa D says, yes, she has. Jimmy says, he can. Right? We all have. No big deal. We have all overreacted to things that really weren't that big of a deal. I think that's where Robert and I balance each other out, because I overreact to the big things and he overreacts to the small things. And then we're complete opposite on the other. So it's like, okay. So again, I know I probably do it more times than I care to admit. But if we look back, we'll see the absolute instant before that seemingly random overreaction. We had a flash of an outrageous self-talk, and bang, off you go with your fabulous self. Right? Exactly, Jimmy. I do know. Now, some of the things that we say and do aren't always particularly rational. Yet we seem to say and do them anyway. It's irrational, but we do it anyways. However, we don't see what we are leaving ourselves with, or a big or, the emotional residue of engaging in even in the mildest of negative self-talk. Now, also, we don't always have a dramatic self-talk either. Sometimes it can be a subtle, but it is equally disempowering. We might be taking a test or working on a project, and we just simply think, this is so hard. What if I don't finish in time? Or perhaps you're just worrying about all the ways you can mess up. And all that does is leave you in an anxious or worried state. I know you know what I'm talking about. So, negative self-talk, and I'm here to testify, negative self-talk can lead to anger, it can lead to sadness, it can lead to frustrations that manifest differently or seemingly unrelated situations. In other words, and I've done it, testifying here, I have done it. I can be a negative self-talking myself, like, see what you did there, Scooter, see what you got yourself into. Why didn't you use that brain of yours and think for a moment? Woo! Yes, I have those conversations with myself. Why didn't you use that brain of yours that you have? What is there for? And poor Robert can walk, and it just happened like in the last week or the week before last. Poor Robert just walked up behind me, and I was just in the middle of whatever I was doing. And I'm like, you got something to tell me? You need to say something? And he was like reaching for my shoulder to, rub my shoulder, give me a love pat. And I was just like, what you got? And I mean, I bit his head off. And he had nothing to do with it. Anyone besides me has done that. Like, he is the innocent person walking up to just give me a love pat. And never mind, not that big of a deal. Turned all around and walked away from me. And I don't blame him. I would turn around and walk away from myself too. Oh, Jimmy. In case you don't know it, you brought me up out of the lowest point of my life. I love you. Selena says, yep. Guilty. Or there it is, guilty. Harry says, poor guy, he probably took it like a champ. He did. He chose to walk away and not feed into me. Because, so many times we'll be like, what you got an attitude for? I didn't do anything to you, type thing, right? But yeah, I just smoothed his head off. I was in the funk, and so everybody else around me was going to be in that headspace with me. So when we do this type of self-talk, it doesn't make our lives any easier. In fact, the more you tell yourself how hard something is, the harder it will actually seem. Now, unfortunately, since we are constantly listening to a steady stream of inner automatic thoughts that we have become so accustomed to the critical voice in our heads. We often don't realize how negative thoughts impact our mood and behavior in any given moment, just like that example I gave you. That we end up doing or not doing things our rational minds want us to do. All right, let's throw another chat participation. Chat participation. What chores? Boy, that was sharp. Sorry about that. What chores do you just absolutely 100% without a doubt dread to do? I can think of a few for myself, and my next thought is, that's why I don't do them. And then I'm pointing the finger at myself when I tell you why I'm asking that question. What chores do you just absolutely 100% without a doubt dread to do? Lisa D says bathroom. Harry says laundry and dishes. I think Robert probably agreed with you on that one. Selena says dishes. Lena says dusting, right? Nancy says lifting heavy items to bag them at work. That was me when I was working at Bath and Body Works. It was like, nope, I dread every day carrying those big boxes out of the back room and into the store area to put on the shelves. If I didn't have a cart to carry it, I had to carry it. Color your hair, like that's my favorite thing to have done. Now, I don't color my hair. I pay someone to color my hair because I would no tell what my hair would look like if I did it. That's probably one that I love to do. All right. The reason you and I dread these chores are because you have built it up in your mind to be something worse than they really are. Joanne says, organizing my messy areas. Did y'all, we've built it up in our mind to something that's worse than what they really are. Sometimes we can avoid doing the simple things like folding laundry or unloading the dishwasher, Harry. Or doing the dishes, I should say. We use our dishwasher. But unloading the dishwasher, when actually it takes little time and effort. Go ahead and get it over with. You're done. And you can move on with your life. But when we have these persistent items that are little things to do, it's easier to collapse them in with our bigger, more important things until we find ourselves overwhelmed or exhausted by life. So why do we resist certain things in our lives? Right, Harry? Yes. Joanne says, unloading the dishwasher. That's another one, right? Usually Robert loads the dishwasher because Robert is, dare I say, anal about how the dishwasher's loaded. And so he loads it, I'll unload it. So, but why do we resist certain things in our lives? Because we have had personal conversation about those kinds of tasks, and they are firmly rooted in some negative opinion. I mean, look in your own life for your stuckness, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We have a pretty serious self-talk blockage going on. So how does language change our lives? When we're self-talking to ourselves, it doesn't only affect us in that moment, but it seeps into our subconscious and it becomes internalized, changing our thoughts and behavior in the long term. I don't know about you guys, but here lately, there seems to be a lot of negativity. You can just go on YouTube. You got friends maybe off of YouTube, friends in your personal life, but they're, either on the channels or off the channels. The way people say things, the way we talk to ourselves and others instantly shapes how we perceive life. And that same perception directly impacts our behavior right there in the moment. Y'all know what it's like. If somebody's talking negative and you're in agreement with whatever they're talking negative about, next thing you know, you're upset. You're mad about it. Right? And you weren't even part of it to begin with. So ignore your perceptions at your peril. Or worse yet, live with the illusion that you don't have perceptions. If you're one that is always talking about how unfair life is, you're going to start acting according to that view, perceiving those slights where someone might slight you where there are none to exist. Or, and studies have shown this, you start putting in less effort into your work because you've already determined it's not good. It's not going to accomplish anything. That unfair view that you have will quickly become your reality. What you think of, you create more of. Harry says, certain channels are full of negativity. I just learned, watch where you go. If you go in there and they are talking negative, just leave, right? Yes. People are attacking other people. Like, I'm all about drama, but I'm all about drama on the Bravo channel on TV. That's where I go. Because I look at the Real Housewives. That's my guilt pleasure. I look at their lives and go, man, I would love to be able to fly in a private jet or go to Dubai, or however you say that. Never been there, so why do I need to learn how to say? I don't know. Anyways. Or, have those big houses and stuff like that. And I know they got other problems that go along with all of that. There's a whole other realm of problems that go with that. But it's just nice to kind of, pretend that you know these people. But again, whatever you think of, you create more of. Now, the other person who views success as if it was just around the corner will not only work their butt off to achieve it, but they are energized, they're live, and they're driven to do it. And also acting on the fundamental views of success. Believing you will be successful, it's only one part of success, though. Have to put in the work because people can accomplish great things without the belief, but it's going to be a rougher ride. A Stoic philosopher turned Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but whoever this Marcus guy was, said, here is a rule to remember in the future. When anything tempts you to feel bitter, not this is misfortune, but to bear this worthily, it's good fortune. Remember, it's entirely, thank you, Elfish Tank, so good to see you. Welcome. Remember, it's entirely within our power to decide how we think about and talk about our problems. We can view problems as a nuance, or we can view it as a stepping stone. They can either hold us down or lift us up. The Stoic philosophers believe that outside events hold no power over us. We create our own reality with our own minds. Now, I want you to ponder a statement for a second. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. Just think about that statement. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. Jimmy, you must be behind, but I'm going to give you a star anyways. Thank you, buddy. All right, but we do have another chat participation. How willing are you to consider that your life is the way it is, not because of the weight of your circumstances or situation, but rather the weight of self-talk that pulls you down? That what you think you can or cannot do is influenced much more directly by some subconscious response than the reality of life itself. So chat participation, how willing are you to consider that your life is the way it is, not because of the weight of your circumstances or situation, but the weight of the self-talk that pulls you down? You like that one, Selena? Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears? Anybody willing to say, how willing are you to consider that your life is the way it is? Not because the weight of the circumstances or your situation that you may be in, but rather by the weight of self-talk that pulls you down. Right? Cool Ranch, willing. Lena, willing. Steve Bash says, I agree, we are all self-made, but only the successful say it. They show it. You walk the walk, you talk the talk, right? Talk the talk, walk the walk, whatever. Y'all know what I mean. Nancy said 100%. Joanne, willing. Harry says, your life is what it is because it's what you make of it, right? Yes. Lisa D says she's willing. Selena says she's willing. So, here is my slap in the face moment. Remember what I said earlier? Well, Scooter, you said a lot of things. Well, here it is. If you keep looking out there, outside of yourself, if you keep looking out there to your circumstances and feverishly working to get out of them, you'll keep getting the same response. What? If you keep looking out there, outside of yourself, to your circumstances, and feverishly working to get out of them, you'll keep getting the same response? The reason why is because there is no power, there's no joy, and there's no vitality to it. Talk about fitting my life right now. Gotcha, Josie. Francine, hey, Francine, welcome in. That was my slap in the face moment. Because I'm in that moment. I'm looking at everything outside of me, and I'm feverishly working to get a hold of them, to get out of them, whatever it may be, and I keep getting the same response. No wonder I keep going in circles. You're welcome, Lisa D. Glad I could kick you in the buttocks. What I realize is that it's a seesaw at best. You know, the seesaw on the playground that you and your friends go wee, up and down, up and down. But it's a seesaw at best of success and disappointment. You're happier that things will make things better, or you become more confident. What if that thing doesn't happen? What then? Or better yet, even if it does happen someday, what happens to your life between now and that day? What happens? Seesaw effect. Happier, everything's going to go great. You know, then it switches. These next few weeks in this series, and if you're needing this, then I will tell you to keep coming back, keep showing up, keep participating so you get more from this. But this series is going to require you to seek the answer not out there, but inside of you. Quick story. Seesaw. I don't like seesaws, not anymore. Because one day, me, and this when our kids were younger, but we had taken the kids to the park, and we were on the seesaw, and I don't remember who was on the other end, but I was on one end, and one of the other girls were on the other end. Robert thought he was going to be a funny guy, put his foot, slam it down on the seesaw, and what happens? It throws me forward. And of course, he's dying laughing because he sees all this happen, but he also felt bad because he didn't think that was going to happen. But I mean, so I must have went up in the air when he hit that, because I went over and hurt. there was a handle in front of that thing and hurt myself on that handle. That's right, Harry. Yes. It was funny afterwards, but it scared the living daylights out of me because he hit that and boom, I go flying over. All right. Back to the other seesaw. If you'll remember the positive thought that I did earlier, you don't have to find the answer. You are the answer. There are people out there that spend their lives waiting for the cavalry, all the while never realizing they are the cavalry. Your life is simply just waiting for you to show up. Retrain your brain one word at a time. We talk a lot about subconscious, and it isn't a bunch of psychobabbling. In fact, scientists have discovered that our thoughts can actually change the physical structure of our brain. As we have been going through life, learning and experiencing new things, our brain is constantly arranging and rearranging the neural pathways that control how we think and how we behave. Kind of like rearranging our furniture in our house. But the best part is we direct our thoughts consciously to modify these pathways for ourselves. The easiest way to shape these thoughts is through conscious, decisive self-talk. You know, the kind of talk that cuts through and takes control of your life. Just like when we discussed habits not too long ago in the other series, probably a couple weeks or so ago, when we build habits by repeating an action until it becomes automatic, we can also use strong assertive language over time to create lasting change in our lives. We can also determine our emotions by steering our thoughts. We can take these thoughts that we have and being conscious of and diligent about our words, we can get the kind of language we need to be engaged in. And this is going to come down to your basic tolerance of your current mindset and also your willingness to change it. To do this, it all starts by making a conscious choice to talk in a way that's helpful rather than harmful. When we use the right kind of language and we frame our problems in a more readily accessible light, we can literally change how we see and interact with the world. We've all heard that create your own reality. Not only is it possible, but millions of people are already doing it all over the world. And they're not just creating it, they are acting on it and living it. No matter how life's circumstances can be, how difficult, challenging, or pressing, how you fundamentally relate to and engage with those circumstances has the biggest say on how they turn out. The answer again is inside you rather than outside of you. The very foundation of our reality is how we talk, how we think, and how we perceive our surroundings. Create the reality you want to live, and by starting the process of having the kind of conversations with yourself and with others that actually shapes that reality. Instead of looking at your everyday problems as problems, look at them as opportunities. An opportunity to educate and expand yourself. Become curious, become engaged with them rather than your usual default of being annoyed or frustrated with it. We kind of touched on the assertive versus the narrative in our last series. Narrative or streaming narrative is where you talk about yourself, others, and life, a dialogue of opinion and judgment. Assertive is where you cast all that default noise in your head, that trash talking that's in the narrative, and you assert your power right here, right now. So, I'm just curious. Cool Ranch says, look inside instead of outside yourself for the answers, right? Yes. So, chat participation time, because I'm curious, how the heck does one create their own reality? Do you guys remember, or do you know where I'm going with this? Because we talked about this before. How does one create their own reality? Oh, good, Lisa D. I just got chills. May watch us repeatedly, a few times or more. This is real good. Love you, Scooter. I love you, Lisa D. How the heck does one create their own reality? Lisa D says, think in positive side of things. Work hard and never give up, Josie says. I like where you're going. The way you create your own reality is by shifting your self-talk from the narrative to the assertive. The first mistake that we make when we talk about what we are going to do or who we will be, that's the first mistake. Subconsciously, we are already determining when that will be happening, and it's certainly not in this moment of time. Selena says, see life more full than empty. You got to go back and watch the episode where I talked about the glass being half full or half empty. Every time I hear that now, I always think about that episode. Never give up. Try again, and be positive. Right, Nancy? Awesome. Lena says, I am the ant moving that rubber tree plant. Yes, you are. So the first mistake we make is when we talk about what we are going to do or who we will be. Subconsciously, we are already determining when that's going to happen. And again, it certainly is not in this moment of time. Right, Josie, you can't just talk. You have to follow through. People get afraid, Harry says, people get afraid to shift, but even if you do shift, you can't go wrong, because even if it doesn't work, you can just start over again. Yes. Because you use it as an opportunity to learn from. It's a stepping stone. Love it, Harry. You get a star. So, let's throw in another quick chat participation. Francine, my reality now is not how I envision, so I am changing it now to be more kind to myself and others. Love it, Francine. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Starts with you, and then you expand, right? So let's do another chat participation real quick. How many of you set, because I'm curious again, how many of you set New Year's resolutions? And how many of you keep them? How many of you set New Year's resolution, and how many of you keep them? Just curious. While y'all think about that, I'm going to get me another drink. I don't know about you guys, but my mouth, I don't know if it all has to still do with this ear infection thing that I had a week or so ago. But my mouth has been so dry here lately. Joanne says, I don't. Nancy Smith says, not me. Cool Ranch says, no, never have set New Year's resolution. Josie says, never set them, just try to do my best all year long. Wow, I thought I would have some that says yes, they set them. Lisa D says no. I know I've tried to. I've tried to set New Year's resolutions. But if you were one that set New Year's resolution, Zelina says, don't remember if I did or not. Red Road, Lena says, ditto what Josie said. I knew what you meant. Right? Yes, Francine, I never set a resolution or may have, but never went through with it fully. Yes. The reason why New Year's resolutions are often abandoned is because they usually use language. And I was like, that is so very true. They usually use language to describe what we are going to do, meaning later. They often begin with what we're not going to do, which leaves us enthusiastic at the beginning, but out of juice when faced with the inevitable moment when reality takes a big old swing at our face. Then you're left with a giant hole in your life left open by the behavior you're apparently stopping. Harry says, if you're going to set goals, why wait to do it at New Year's? If you want to improve your life, just do it. Love it, Harry. I'm so glad you've been coming in here, Harry. You got great advice. Cool Ranch says, we're all just following your Monday motivation examples. Who needs resolutions when we have Scooter? Teacher's pet right there. Yes. But, when we do that, it's just a matter of time before we get that big old swing in our face. So we all have those moments in life where our internal dialogue runs riot. Like when we're going to lose weight and we're craving pizza. Or maybe save some money, but the one thing you want is actually on sale now. How do we deal with those moments when the enthusiasm has won and those old thought patterns reemerge? You ever notice when you're like, I'm going to start eating healthy, and all of a sudden all the commercials come on the TV? They've never played before. Well, all of a sudden, Applebee's is showing their steak. Outback is showing their Barbie shrimp on the grill, whatever they call that. I'm going to eat healthy. Olive Garden pops up their pasta, or maybe it's desserts that you see. Krispy Kreme has more commercials than usual. I don't know about you, but that always happens to me. Always happens to me. So, or maybe, like I said, maybe you're saving money and there's an item that's finally on sale that you've been wanting. Maybe it was that jacket that you saw and you're like, oh, I don't want to pay that much for it. And then finally it's on sale. How do we deal with those moments when all those old thoughts start coming back? Shrimp on the Barbie. Thank you. I knew I said that backwards. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Francine says, Scooter, just like I wanted to do a vision board and never did it. In my head, I want to do so many things, but other important stuff deterred me, right? We all go through that. Selena said, I did to have a better year than last year. Enjoy my family and friends, so I did make one. I'm sorry, that does sound good though. A blooming onion, yes, with that whatever sauce they put with it. Yes. Harry says, if you see something you want and have the money for it, get it. You only get one life to enjoy it, right? But maybe there's that bigger thing that you want. Maybe you want to save up your money for that bigger thing, but all of a sudden this little thing is on sale. Those mind games that we play with ourselves. So when that happens, when the old thoughts patterns start reemerging, the enthusiasm is going away, assertive self-talk is when you state claim right here, right now. And when you start talking in terms of I am, I embrace, I accept, or I assert, powerful and commanding uses of language rather than the narrative of I will or I'm going to. Oh, Francine. It was almost like that, right? I'm going to make a vision board. Instead, it should be I embrace. I don't know. I am the vision board. Whatever. But assertive talk. I am. I embrace. I accept. I assert. Rather than I will or I'm going to. Kind of like when you tell your kids to do something, they're like, I'm going to. I'll do it in a little bit. I'm going to. And then you come back 10 minutes later and it's still not done, right? Robert probably tell you I'm that way too, but we won't. He's not here, so we don't have to admit that. So, the psychological and physiological impact of using in the moment assertive language is not only powerful, but it has a very real in the moment effect. Massive difference between I am relentless and I will be relentless, or I am empowered and not I will be empowered. One of those statements intervenes in your life at this moment. The other lives like a description of what's to come rather than what's here. You will have to try out the assertive speaking in your daily life, and also catch yourself when you're using the more general narrative kind of speaking. It's going to take practice. It ain't going to happen overnight. Harry says, and I wish people would quit telling their kids if they behave, they will get them this or that at Christmas time. What if something happens to that kid when you wish you would have just gotten it, right? Yes. Either get it or don't, right? Since this is day 1 of the series, meaning we have 8 more weeks, and we're skipping next Monday, you have time to think on this. I'm all for being here. I'm all about empowering. I'm all about enlivening, uplifting you, emboldening you to take action in your day-to-day life. I'm all about it. I'm here for it. But the only real way to interact with what I tell you is for you to explore and try on what I am saying. Take the time to think, to ponder, and experiment for yourself. There's no greater knowledge than the knowledge you have verified for yourself in your own experience. If you accept the challenge and take all this as a personal experiment rather than an assessment of what I say, you just may end up experiencing the most radical, life-changing exercise you have ever engaged with. Y'all thought climbing Hero Mountain was good, that it was powerful? You ain't seen nothing yet. These next 8 weeks after next Monday, they might confront you, they might annoy you, they might jar you, they might exasperate you. Get over yourself and keep coming back. It'll all come together in the end, like a good book that you read or a good movie that you've watched. It'll all come together in the end. These next few weeks will require you to think, to cognitively connect your language and your feelings in a real and conscious way with your everyday life, to explore the vast landscapes like we did on the mountain of your life that present themselves when you begin to understand the connection between how you speak and how you feel. I encourage you to take notes, whether it's on a Post-it note or a notebook page, paper, or whatever it may be, of things that you want to remember, things you want to implement, things that ring your bell, if you will. Use these ideas as a starting point when you're stuck or you need to rejuvenate. So I encourage you to come back and listen again. Dive in and really soak in the information and unleash the kind of you that the world has yet to see. As always, thank you guys for starting off your week with me for Monday Motivation. This is going to be an exciting series. I'm just got chills. Unleashing the kind of you that the world has yet to see. Keep on coming back. Tomorrow night, I will be on with my feather sister, Selena, for our One Fry Short of a Happy Meal at 7:30 p.m. Central. And then Wednesday night, Selena and I will both be over on Josie's Place at 6 p.m. Central. So make sure you are subscribed to Josie because we're going over there. And then Thursday night, I will have Cool Ranch Dorito on with me at 7:30 p.m. Central. And then I am on vacay as soon as I invoice you. Cool Ranch says, and remember, don't put your hamster in one of those plastic balls. They'll fall down the stairs. Yes, we don't need you falling down the stairs, right? Aw, thank you, Harry. It's always great being here. Always so positive here. That's the whole point of it. Love it, Lisa. This is going to change life for the better, right? So next week is my week off, but I will have Buy It Now videos that will start dropping on Monday all the way through Friday each day. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure that you have that bell mark for all notifications. And don't forget to leave your thumbs up for those shows as well as for tonight. I will invoice you the week of March 31st when I get back if you get anything off the Buy It Now videos. Don't forget, there will not be a Monday Motivation next Monday. I know, sad. But I will still try to drop the short videos for the hashtags for you guys. But no Monday Motivation next week. But the following Monday, that next Monday Night Motivation will be Monday, March 31st. And we'll be discussing I Am Willing. Wonder what that one's going to be about. Francine, thank you, Scooter. Happy I dropped in tonight. Everyone have a wonderful week and a blessed week. You too? Yes. You can watch this one again. That's right, Lisa D. All right. Remember, it's not that you have to find the answer. You are the answer. Now let's do this thing. Good night, everybody.